Good afternoon. I'm Nigel Legg from Trevanion Legg, and I'm presenting on Trust, Identity, Reach, and Reward, making social media work for market research. So, straight in. Trust is the first factor that I'm going to be talking about. It's a two-way process. People must trust the researcher to be a valid professional, and the researcher, in turn, must trust the people to be honest. Trust is fundamental to all relationships, not just market research, and you can only trust people who are honest with you. It's essential to develop relationships to have trust. So on to the next slide. Identity is key to establishing trust in the first place. People invest time in their identities online, on Facebook, LinkedIn, and so on. And people are today themselves and use their real names. We believe that this is due to things like the Facebook terms of service saying that you have to give real information, and the advent of social networks like LinkedIn, which are for professional and business purposes. So public posting on social media makes people act in accountable and honest ways. So social media nowadays relies on real-world relationships with real-world people. And people care about what their friends and contacts think of the content they post, leading in some cases to status update anxiety. You could say that Twitter is still in the 1990s because it allows people to have usernames which aren't their real name. And so the strength of identity around Twitter is less than it is around Facebook. So on these first two things, trust and identity, the Coffee Mat Challenge from Finch is not as strong as it is on the next two, reach and reward, but these are things that are developing. So reach. Reach is the number of people or the geographic extent that you can cover with your social media campaign. So in terms of market research, the question here is, how do you get a relevant sample set in the right demographic, geographic area, and so on? Finding your target audience. For traditional research, this is hard to do and expensive. You get problems with the sample, the response rate, professional respondents, and so on. With the Finch challenges, recruitment methods are chosen to reach the appropriate target group. So, for example, the Coffee Mat Challenge, which was done in universities, emails were sent out to students, so the universities can contact the students directly. Though the students do need some kind of reward or bribe to carry on with the survey. In the election challenge, Twitter and Facebook were used. So it's using the appropriate method to recruit participants. So if you take this to another level, a social media platform will only become valid when there is a critical mass of users on that platform. So you've seen something like Identica has faded away as Twitter has grown because the user base is moving away from it. So in the Coffee Mat Challenge, there isn't a well-defined sample set. The sample set is limited only by the degree of separation from the original people who received the email. And it depends on human behavior. But again, this is something Finch are working on. Okay, and the last factor is reward. People must have a reason to press the share button. They must have some form of reward. It could be a prize, it could be some information, educational material, or see some photographs, or see a video, something like that. People have to get some reward. In terms of the coffee mat challenges, there are two levels of reward. You get a short animation after voting, and you get a prize for the best idea. But prizes in games are different to a lottery. Quite often in surveys you're entered into a draw to win a prize. But a prize in a game, people can affect whether they can win that prize. They can invest time and skill and ability into winning that prize. And so, as I just said, there's different rewards for different types of participation. And Clinton Bonner, who's an American crowdsourcing expert, according to his LinkedIn page, said, some people are amazing at bold ideation, while others are better at refining and iterating something previously suggested. Some simply want to vote or rank what they find appealing, and others, well, they just like to hang out to see what's up. So there's different actions that different people can do at different times. This system gives people what's right for them at that moment and allows them to still participate. So if we take a look at the Coffee Mat Challenge now, this is an example idea from the Coffee Mat Challenge. You can see that, if I use the mouse, you can see that Owais Ahmed is named. So the people who submit ideas are named. The people who vote on them don't, in this particular example, didn't have their names collected. These projects have been run in a number of universities and local authorities. So the next slide shows a still from the animation after an idea was voted as being good. All the little stick figures have a dance. And after an idea was voted as being bad. So it's not quite such a cheerful animation. From one of the UWE's University of West of England studies, the top ranked idea was to provide more night buses to the campus to save students money from taxi fares. And the bottom ranked idea was to have the plug hole in the bath in the middle of the bath. So the voting and ranking system seems to work very well in terms of separating out ideas, the good ideas and the bad ideas. So lastly, the trust, identity, reach and reward framework can be applied to crowdsourced idea generation, survey design, social media marketing campaigns, or social media platforms as a whole. It's a structure that we've developed for thinking about what you are doing when you start engaging with social media. And all of those examples I gave just now, it's essential that trust, identity, reach, and reward are all correct at all stages of the development of the project in order to make them successful. And gaming is the reward. Providing a game in which the participant can affect the outcome and have some fun, can learn something, is crucial, we think, to the social web and everything that happens on it. Thank you very much for your time.